Hey guys, Red Pen Mining here. Hope you're doing well. Having a really great day this video. Okay. Oh, it's been a while since I've done one of these talking head videos, it seems. But just giving you guys my perception currently of crypto mining and just how everything is currently regarding Bitcoin, especially Bitcoin's price having around 62,000 now. So what is the landscape of crypto mining right now? Well, it's a little rough, and I'm going to go through just some popular ASIC models that are out there and also go through GPU mining, which has been kind of popular, which I kind of don't want to bring light to it because it's been decent over the past month or two, but I'm going to have to say a lot of people are really not into GPU mining much anymore because of what has happened or what has transpired over the past couple of years. So we'll talk about Pearl and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to talk about a bunch of stuff just regarding Bitcoin mining and Litecoin as well, script mining, and just maybe some new stuff that's coming out that might be interesting. Okay, so if you guys find that interesting, hit that like, and perfect segue to our sponsor. Enterprise AI is the biggest money story of the decade, and it's been closed to you until now. Terra Compute builds enterprise-grade dual epic GPU servers. After 3 years of R&D at their own data center, Terra Compute is now open for business. Hosted in their own data center at a former US military base in Indiana on a locked utility rate no marketplace can touch. You buy, we host, no monthly fees, we rent it to enterprise buyers who pay a premium, and you earn more than the regular platforms currently out there. If we don't rent it, we don't get paid. Write the whole purchase off with Section 179, and at the end of your contract, if you're not happy, we ship the server to your door. You own real hardware, real data center, fast deployment, real returns. Inquire through a special form link in the video description below. Terra Compute, infrastructure as a service. Okay, so it's been quite a war of attrition, I'd have to say, since, I don't know, I'm going to say the past 2 years, maybe since June 2024. It's June 2026 now. Since then, we've seen a rise in Bitcoin's price, but also we've seen a rise in Bitcoin's hash rate. Okay, so since then, well, probably a good 500 exahash since then, June of 2024. And so there's been quite an expansion of Bitcoin mining, and, you know, it's quite competitive, right? Crypto mining is a zero-sum game, so there's going to be winners, there's going to be losers. And so here we are today, in which Bitcoin's price has come down from the highs of 125K, I think the peak, which didn't really sustain there for that long. Maybe it sustained there for a good couple months. But then lo and behold, back in November of 2025, we had the crash, Binance liquidation, what have you, and massive sell-off and sell pressure and just everything. Massive layoffs, economic downturn, the war, whatever catalyst you want to blame, on which the market has gone down almost 50% since November, right? The hash rate for Bitcoin hasn't come down 50%. It's still pretty high over, it was over a zettahash, but we haven't gone down back to its previous time when Bitcoin was 60K back in June 2024, and now Bitcoin is around 60K, pretty much back 2 years ago. And I'm going to coincide this with Bitcoin. They did have a halving back in April 20th, 2024. The next Bitcoin halving is going to happen in April 12th, 2028, around there. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of prediction here, but it's just a prediction. It's not set in stone. We'll see if it happens. But now you guys know, okay, what's happened in the hash rate versus Bitcoin's price, and now ASIC profitability for, let's just say, let's go to 8.5 cents, okay? And let's just put in a typical S19k Pro. I'd say this is a popular Bitcoin miner, but I don't know how many of these are out on the network right now, but at 8.5 cents, it's losing $1.75 a day. So it's not profitable to run this machine. So we have been seeing, right? We have been seeing some hash rate turn off over the past couple of months, or since November actually. And whether or not that's going to be S19s turning off, but at the same time, there's been expansion of other people out there that's maybe getting into hydro, right? So people with S19s turning them off, but then there's people with S21s that are maybe turning them on, or maybe S21 plus hydros, or maybe the new S23s, which are coming out. So there's kind of this this yin and yang in which, you know, there's older hardware turning off and there's obviously newer hardware turning on. So we haven't seen this drastic drop off in hash rate. I mean, it looks like we have seen this hash rate drop off, but there's new hardware coming on. There's still people that are expanding. There are still plenty of people out there that have not 8.5 cents, but maybe, you know, maybe 2 cents, maybe 3 cents per kilowatt hour, maybe 4 cents per kilowatt hour. There's a lot of different renewable energies that some people are using out there, like hydro. I've heard of some companies, businesses buying hydro dams, mills and whatnot, getting into solar at scale, maybe wind farms, and another popular one, which it's not renewable, but it's gas flare. Gas flare is another prominent one I'd say has been coming up over the past couple of years. And so those guys are pretty much mining for free, essentially, depending on the oil company, if they're maybe taking a little cut, which some of them are only taking maybe a penny or something kilowatt hour. So it's really cheap in that regard. So the hash rate for Bitcoin just hasn't really dropped off. And also with Litecoin and Script, it's also been kind of staying elevated as well in a sense, hasn't really dropped. Just quickly looking at Dogecoin, Dogecoin is under 8 cents now. So a typical, let's say, Bitmain L9, very popular L9, obviously is profitable at 4 cents. 6 cents, still profitable. 7 cents, making a buck, $2. 8 cents, making a buck. And then at 9 cents, I think we're breaking even. Pretty much breaking even. So an L9 is getting less and less profitable. I'm going to assume that there are a lot of L7s that are still out in the network right now, but these L7s are losing or breaking even at 5 cents. So there is hash rate. It seems like hash rate was turning off, but I'm going to have to say that there's also expansion into people buying L9s, people with cheaper power, maybe people buying hydro, right? Hydro, the DL1 hydro from Bitdeer. This thing does 52.5 gigahash, has a June release. So I just heard that this has been shipping out recently. So I did see a little tick in hash rate and but also a drop off. But I'm going to have to say that's probably due to the recent price action of Dogecoin, which over the past, you can see over the past couple of months or since November of 2025, Doge has been on a downtrend. And it's just been, again, like this war of attrition where, you know, a bunch of crypto miners such as you guys and just anyone out there that's running crypto mining as a business, it's hard. Even at like 8 or 9 cents per kilowatt hour, we're really not making much money. We're barely breaking even. We're only making like $1 or something. And I'm going to correlate this with GPU mining because, you know, a typical 3080 right now is making over $1.50. A single RTX 3080 right now mining Pearl is better than a L9 at $1 at 8 cents per kilowatt hour. So you can see the the disparity here. You know, a 3600 watt miner versus a 233 watt GPU that earns more than a 3000 watt 3600 watt miner. So this is how far, you know, ASIC mining or Dogecoin has fallen so much in price that ASIC mining for Dogecoin Script has fallen from grace, right? So it's funny that we're seeing this switch now, but you know, this happens, right? So it's always good to stay diversified. Mine within your means, everybody. Okay, I've been hearing a lot more recently. People have been, I don't know, buying miners on credit cards, and they're taking out loans, and they're paying their electrical bill with credit cards, and they're just getting wiped out, right? It's like the war of attrition. Their resources are just getting further and further evacuated, and the money and, you know, it depends on their cash flow if they're able to, you know, keep on mining or trying to hold, but then their cash reserves are just being depleted by the electricity bill because they're trying to hold on and hope that the coin will go up, you know, sooner or later, which I've done in the past. And, you know, it's burned me out, right? I ran out of cash. There's some points in my crypto mining career back in 2019, 2018. I vividly remember this for anyone that watch my videos back then. You know, it was rough, you know, GPU mining, keeping up crypto mining and, you know, having the cash flow to keep your rigs on in hopes that the altcoin that you're mining or Bitcoin or whatever you're mining is going to go up in the future, right? And so this is why we're probably seeing more and more people turn off recently, and I've been hearing more people turn off because They don't have the cash flow to stay afloat, right? And it's getting rough out there. There's been massive layoffs economically. You know, everything is on a downturn, sell pressure, everything's negative right now. So it makes sense that as to why Bitcoin's down is because just everything is down. And I called this, like, I'm not going to like toot my own horn here, but like I remember when Bitcoin was just really high and miners and everything was making so like good amount of money back up here back in 2025, and I was calling out like, you know, everything that I'm mining has been going into USDC, and I'm actually still mining everything into USDC whether some of my ASICs are just breaking even, so there's kind of no point. I am probably going to flip into mining everything into Bitcoin one of these days, maybe in the next month or so, but right now I'm staying USDC, but there is going to come a point where I'm hoping that more hash rate is going to turn off, and it's going to be better for me to go then into Bitcoin financially and in my situation. Okay. So not everyone can do that, right? If you have the, you know, cash flow, or you have a war chest, or you have, you know, just enough cash that you think you can sustain over the next year until the market can, you know, turn around. That's the risk. That's the strategy that you're going to take. Nobody knows, right? We don't know if the market's going to turn. Nobody knows. But I did talk about this like over the past 2 years, like the signs were there, right? People were getting laid off economically. Everything was negative. It just wasn't going to sustain. And I called for this bear market to come by. I don't know if you guys remember, but this was, I'm going to go back into a video. Like I remember drawing a chart and being like, this mimics like 2021, like everything that we felt, the euphoria, you know, when your mom starts asking you, hey, I want to buy Bitcoin. That's when you start selling. Anyways, so Bitcoin mining, it's, you know, S21 XP. I forgot to just show one of these or something, but like S21 XP is still okay, still decent at 8 cents, 9 cents, you know, still making $1 or so. I know the Bitcoin just had a difficulty change just recently. I think, oh no, it wasn't recently, but like 9 days ago. Basically, we're gonna have one in 3 days, so it's actually gonna go up 5%. So, ooh, that's gonna be a little rough. But hopefully, Bitcoin's price can go up a bit to help elevate that uptick in Bitcoin difficulty. But anyways, this happens all the time. And you may notice the swings in the hash rate for Bitcoin. When you look at Bitcoin's hash rate, it's just, it always goes up and down, up and down, up and down, because there's massive entities out there that are curtailing, and maybe some that are just turning off because they can no longer afford it, right? So you're going to see these massive swings all around. Okay, so let's get into GPU mining here real quick here. So this is something I don't want to talk about because I don't want more people, and I recommend most people, if you want to get in the GPU mining, it's probably not a good idea at this point. I mean, hardware is really expensive right now, all that kind of stuff. It's, if you don't have the hardware already sitting, and which I think majority of people who are watching me maybe have hardware already or maybe sold off already, I wouldn't go out of my way and buy, you know, GPUs right now for Pearl mining, because Pearl mining, even though it's been good, it's been okay over the past 2 months or something, or no, month or so, hasn't even been a month yet. You know, we don't know how long this is going to sustain, and we've seen swings in the profitability for Pearl mining. So Pearl mining, like Pearl, the coin itself, the emissions for Pearl right now is not, I mean, it's high. It's a $753,000 emissions a day. So that's spread across all the people who are crypto mining, which, you know, that's why it's been decent over the past month, because it has such a high emission. But is it going to sustain for the next month? I don't know, right? And so like, this is why over the past couple months, we have seen Pearl's hash rate, you know, go up a lot back in June, right? Especially with the AI rentals as well. But it has been kind of coming down here. I think that's because of rentals, but people who have GPUs still and are still mining are still profitable. It's still decent, 50-60, making over $1.50 a day, 30-80, $1.85. I have a bunch of these. I should really turn these on for Pearl mining. But you know, it's decent right now, better than an L9. A single 3080 that, you know, costs like a couple $100 is making more than, you know, than an S21 XP, even, you know, a couple $1,000 S21 XP. It's crazy to think, right? It's crazy to see this disparity in hardware in which GPUs currently at this point. I'm not saying GPU mining is going to, you know, continue on for a while. Probably won't. So again, I don't recommend anyone just going out and buying GPUs for mining or making money because you probably won't ROI in a certain time. But who knows if Pearl is, unless you believe in Pearl, which I don't think many people do. Maybe some people do. I don't know. Anyway, just in terms of making money, right? It's rough for ASICs right now because of how depressed Bitcoin's price is, Dogecoin's price, Bitcoin, Dogecoin. I think those are the top two mainly what people have been looking at. But for GPUs currently, it's been pretty good. And but yeah, I again, I'm not trying to dissuade anyone to get into GPU mining, and I'm not. Maybe some people are going to say, "Oh, Red Panda, you're just trying to hoard all the profits yourself." I'm trying to save people from the volatility, and just for people who have already been into GPU mining and maybe have the hardware already, maybe it's best just to leave it for those guys who have this hardware and maybe get a return. I think with crypto mining and GPU mining and everything, I'm not trying to say I'm like trying to gatekeep or anything, but I get it all the time. I get it both ways, right? It's a double-edged sword for me, whether or not I talk about something, which I've been trying not to talk about, how profitable, Pearl has been for GPU mining, because I don't want more people to come in, right? I don't want more people to come into GPU mining because we're trying to keep it low for the people. We're trying to keep it down low for the people that are already in it, that already have the hardware. And is that a bad thing? Maybe. Is that a selfish thing? Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. The onus is on me to be like this gatekeeper, and I hate it because people are like, "Oh, Red Panda, you're just trying to," maybe if I'm talking about Pearl or Pearl mining, then people are going to say, "Oh, Red Panda, you're trying to shill this coin, and you're trying to, pump it and all that stuff." And then the other side of it, which I'm trying to say to people, save your money, don't buy GPUs just for Pearl mining. You don't know if it's, you're going to get your money back, but and then people will say, "Oh, Red Panda, you're just trying to hoard the profits for yourself." I just can't win either way. I don't know whether or not to say this or say that, because either way, the risk is going to be on the person who's going to swipe their credit card and buy a GPU for GPU mining. And, but it's rough. But buying the motherboards, the RAM is really expensive. The hard drives are really expensive. Processors, everything now. If you want to do it decently at a scale and make decent profit out of it, you got to invest a lot of money. And there aren't very many Octominers or Octominer cases for sale anymore. I wouldn't go out of my way and buy those anymore. It's just rough, right? It's rough all around right now where the market is, especially with Bitcoin mining and script mining. It's getting a little dicey. I hope it gets better, right? I truly do hope that it turns around. But as of right now, just the negative effect that's happening with everything right now. I mean, within the world, there's no retail coming back into these coins. Meme coins, obviously, right? Meme coin season. That's why Doge pumped up to 45 cents back in November, December. We don't have that right now. Is it going to happen again? I don't think it's going to happen for another 2 years. That's my prediction. And I forgot to talk about the Bitcoin halving, which is coming up in pretty much like 2 years, right? 758 days as of recording. So this is a whole other thing that I'm bullish that Bitcoin is obviously going to go higher into higher highs in the next couple years. But if we're talking about some plays here, okay, which, coinciding with the Bitcoin halving, which I think, this is why in 2020, Bitcoin had a halving back in 2020, May 11th, 2020, Bitcoin pumped. 8 months, a year later, roughly. Then 2024, we had another halving. Bitcoin went down to 3.125 Bitcoin, and Bitcoin then pumped about back in 2025, about a year and a bit later, right? Then 2028, here we are. We're pretty much in the middle. I'm going to say, then we're in 2026 right now. So we're pretty much in the middle between these halvings here. And so I think this is how I believe in the 4-year cycle. And with Bitcoin right now, we're probably going to be having a slow time for the next while, similar for what we had in 2022, 2023 to 2024. So if this coincides with anything with the halving, then we're suspecting that 2026, 2027, and then 2028 to start really ramping up. My prediction is, which I don't know, we're going to have a slow growth, maybe the end of this year. Maybe 2027 starts going up a little bit, but then, we're going to have the halving in 2028. So I think after this is when Bitcoin should probably start ramping up even higher. And then 2029 is going to be the bull run. I don't know. We'll see if that's the case, right? That's how I see it, especially with the 4-year cycle what we've had in the previous two, I guess. 2017 was the bull run. I forgot to talk about the previous one before that. So it's pretty much in line with what we've seen with the Bitcoin halvings. Pretty much like a year later is when Bitcoin starts going up after the halving. So I don't know if that's gonna be the case for this next one. We'll see, and I'll come back to this video if that ever happens and say, oh, we were right. But if not, then we were wrong. But we're gonna see what happens. But this next couple months, next year, this half year, it's gonna be rough. And I'm suspecting that the hash rate is going to drop off, but there are people who are expanding because they are able to achieve cheaper electrical prices, depending on their expenses, of course. A lot of them have to consider employees, internet, security, insurance, whatever, all that stuff every month. Depends, right? It depends how much money they are able to make and what their cost per kilowatt hour is going to be. Anyways, guys, this video is long enough. Yeah, that's how I perceive everything right now. Let me know what you guys think down below. And if you guys watch till the very end of this video, please comment down below. I want to give a 2 petahash brains hash power to a lucky winner. So this is for people who watch my videos to the very end. I want to support you and just congratulate you for people that comment and watch to the very end. So this is for those that really truly watch my videos. I will know who watches my videos to the very end. And so all right, I appreciate you all. You guys have a great day. Have a good one. Hit that like and peace out. Peace out. Still storing your crypto on exchanges? That's risky. This is the Red Panda Tangem card. Simple, secure, and built for real self-custody. No seed phrases, no complicated setups. Just tap your card, manage your crypto, and you're in control instantly. Secure chip technology keeps your assets protected, even offline. I've tested a lot of hardware wallets, and this is by far one of the easiest ways to get started. If you want true ownership of your crypto, check out the Red Panda Tangem card below. Simple, secure, self-custody. Use code RPM for another 10% off. Link in the video description below.